I do not own the rights to this music. Again, I do not own the rights to this music. We live. I do not own the rights to this music.
I have not money. We make it before we see it. You take it. Oh, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Make me wanna holler the way they do my life. This ain't living, this ain't living.
Again, I do not own the rights
No,
to this
no, baby, this ain't living. No, 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 no. Inflation, no chance to increase finance. Bills pile up, sky high. Send that boy off to die. Oh, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Yeah, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Oh,
What's up, Monte? Old school in the house. I see your tongue. I see your John. Boom. I see you. I think it's Saturday night. We ain't going out. You might as well talk about Marcus Garvey tonight. We're gonna put some respect on Marcus Garvey tonight. And Chuck Brown. I mean that. You wanna come in? You can come in.
let down, bad breaks, setbacks, natural. Fact is, oh, honey, that I can't pay my taxes. Oh, make me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Yeah, it made me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Oh, crime is increasing. Trigger happy, policing. Panic is spreading. God knows where we're headed. Oh,
Again, I do not own the rights to this music. I'm a phase Marvin out right now. What's up, family? This is Juan J. Johnson coming at you, the Real Talk Commentary, the Real Talk exclusive. Tonight, and I'm gonna take my time with this. I don't feel rushed, but I'm gonna take my time with this. We're gonna put some respect on Marcus Garvey. We're gonna put some respect on Chuck Brown. And after to hear that intro, because that's my intro, the Marvin Gaye intro, Inner City Blues, we're going straight right now to, we're going straight to the Godfather.
Y'all stalling me now. What you want me to do? One more time.
Straight to the Godfather.
I don't hear you.
Chuck Brown's day
Oh, yes, I do.
and it's Marcus Garvey day.
Okay. I'm gonna rubber with the way it's so easy. You can miss a bottle, make it any way that you please. Rock your bottom because I know that you got 'em.
I do not own the rights to this. We're going to do some Chuck tonight and some Marcus Garvey.
You keep me shook, now you got me hooked. Shenanigans. If it gets negative, we won't let it. Now everybody come along and kick it with me.
What's up, Karen? What's up, Tony B? It's in the house. Put some respect on Chuck Brown and Marcus Garvey tonight. I'm going to play a speech of Marcus Garvey tonight in his own words. Godfather of Go-Go, the Godfather. On this day, although his birthday was on the 22nd, but we recognize Chuck Brown on this day, the 17th. Wind me up, Chuck. On Chuck Brown tonight and Marcus Garvey. All right. I didn't mean to cut it off like that, but it went off. I don't know why it went off for real. It's still playing. What's up, family? This is Juan J coming at you, the Real Talk Commentary. We're going to put some respect on Chuck Brown tonight and Marcus Garvey. Good evening. Let me get some preliminaries of the way. This is Juan J Johnson coming at you with the Real Talk Commentary. If you want to reach me, you can call me. You can reach me at juanjohn29@gmail.com. juanjohn29@gmail.com. If you want to send any size donation, you need to, because all y'all got a free go-go today for an hour and 14 minutes. I didn't realize I had no idea I was recording for an hour and 14 minutes. Y'all got a free go-go today. A free go-go. $sign JUANJ29 at the Cash App. Okay? $sign JUANJ29. With that said, let me say something. Today was an extraordinary day for if you was a go-go head. An extraordinary day. Because we put some respect on the living legend. DC's own. Chuck Brown. Chuck wasn't there, but his son was there. Kiki was there. Sugar Bear was there. Raheem Devon was there. Junkyard was there. We put some major respect on Chuck Brown's day. And for all you who are on the West Coast, because, you know, this thing is going worldwide. It's not just East Coast. Like I said, it's 11 o'clock here. It's like 7 o'clock there, 8 o'clock. Chuck Brown is the godfather of go-go music in the D.C. area. Chuck Brown is like George Washington. No, he's not. He ain't no slaveholder. But Chuck Brown is a foundational stone if you are part of the district in Maryland, and I'm not going to say no Virginia, Because coming up, it was never the DMV. It was DC and Maryland. Maryland guys respected DC. DC guys respected Maryland. There was no mention of Virginia. Now, some rapper or some radio personality, DJ, combine the DMV and make it all inclusive. But coming up in my day, it was not the DMV. It was Maryland and it was DC. And if you was a go head, you recognize either your Maryland or DC. But Chuck found a way to bring us all together. Again, I want to put some respect on Chuck. Chuck Brown. Today, it had to be at least 4,000 people at that park today. And I'm not exaggerating. And I saw my video. It's kind of blurry. They've been blurring my stuff since I've been real radical, Rip. But a minimum of 4,000 people. Vendors. No fighting. No shooting. Just straight Chuck Brown Day. So I may have to go into the vault and pull out a couple of Chuck Brown classics for your listening. But if you are not a Washingtonian, you will never really understand the love we have for go-go music. Watch this. I'll wear this shirt tomorrow. Go-go was my life. Go-go was my first love. Go-go was my first love. Whether you was a homegrown born here or whether you came here and you migrated here, you know that if you DC, Maryland, you are go-go. Whether it's Rare Essence, whether it's EU, whether it's Chuck Brown, or better yet, let me go back to the old school, the Mighty Peacemakers, the Air Raid, Reds and the Boys, Little Benny, Junkyard, Backyard, Northeast Groovers. I mean, now they're more progressive now with the Subtle Thoughts, with the vibe. I love vibe. Okay, but if you're a DC person, you know about the go-go piece. And anytime, watch this, most people know if you're from DC because they know that we bring the go-go. We bring it to New York. We bring it to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. We bring it to the West Coast. Watch this. In this system of racism, white supremacy, or white male dominant culture, the only music that this white boy has not infiltrated or taken over is go-go. Think about that. The only music that he has not touched, he's touched rap, blues, jazz, R&B, soul, orchestra. He has not touched go-go. And you have to ask the question, why hasn't this white boy touched go-go? You know why? In the bigger scheme of things, you don't get no closer to Africa with the bongos, the congos, the cowbells, the drums in Africa. See, this white boy know this. He started messing with them drums, with them congos and bongos, cowbells. He gonna start summoning or invoking ancestral spirits. Chew on that fat for a second. Chew on that. He don't want to touch no go-go. If we take go-go from America to the motherland, we blend right on in. Yes, okay, guess what? Yeah, we've saturated the whole world with rap, in hip hop, because that's verbal. But ancestral, I'm talking about African, I'm talking about ancient, the drums, the congos, bongos, the horns. This white boy won't touch go-go because he knows if he touch go-go, he just may be summoning ancestral energy, ancestral people who, our people, the ancestors are saying this, never forget, revenge. He won't touch go-go. Think about a family. I can't make this up. He's touched all the, as a matter of fact, he's so afraid of go-go, he won't even promote it. Because he know, coming up, the drums was banned from our people coming up. Because we use the drums to send messages. He killed the drums, the bongos, dongos, whatever, everything. Afraid of that ancestral connection. So trust me, D.C., Maryland, D.C. is unique. I'm not saying Virginia, because I know Virginia in 1619, 400 years, ain't nothing but slavery. So we need to embrace the go-go, promote the go-go, because this is one piece of our culture that this white boy will not touch. He will come and participate and listen to it, maybe even, try to blend in, but he will never try to mimic it because he knows once he starts dealing with them drums, them congos and bongos, them cowbells, guess what? He gonna start summoning that ancestral energy, those ancestral spirits, and before you know it, they can be talking about revenge. And I mean that. So again, I just want to put some respect on Chuck Brown. It was a beautiful, 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 beautiful occasion. If you missed it, I had taped a whole hour and 14 minutes worth of go-go music. Please share it. Please listen to it again. Although I was born in Carolina back in the 60s, but my mama came here in the 70s, and I ain't been back. Well, I've been back visiting, but I claim this area right here. You can't be here almost 40-something years of your life and then talking about, I'm from Carolina. No. I'm straight out of Palmer Park, the Landover, okay? And I'm proud to be a Landoverian, a Palmer Parker. Sugar Ray come out of Palmer Park. You know what I'm saying? Some of the best, Curtis Peoples come out of Palmer Park. You know what I'm saying? Some of my boy Kevin Banks. Kevin, putting you on blast, boy. So again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to go straight to it. Look here, I'm going to take my time with this. It's 11:11 right now. I'm going to try to put a whole good hour in. I'll be finished by hopefully 12. But I have to put the respect on Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Because again, as I say often, because we are 13% of the population in America, which we are 45 million strong, okay? But we don't own or control 13% of the media, whether it's print, whether it's radio, whether it's satellite, whether it's entertainment. We don't own nothing. So we have to wait for them to celebrate us. But they're not going to celebrate us. I will bet everybody on this feed right now, I'll give $100 if you could if you can tell me right now that the big three, big four, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, hell, I even say NPR, Has anybody even mentioned Marcus Garvey's name? Has anybody even mentioned Chuck Brown's name? Well, maybe Chuck Brown, locally. But nationally, Marcus Garvey is equivalent to George Washington in the black community. Although he's from Trinidad, the Trinidadians, well, he came from Jamaica, didn't want no parts of him per se. He came here. I'm going to read some stuff on Garvey. I'm going to play you a Garvey message in his own voice. His own voice. Okay? So you can have an idea of how powerful he was, how focused he was, and how the white male dominant culture feared Garvey. You know, J. Edgar Hoover sharpened his FBI, COINTELPRO, destabilization tactics by destroying Garvey. There was no FBI initially. It was J. Edgar Hoover who destroyed Garvey with the help of the NAACP, W. Du Bois, and many others. So I'm gonna give you some history of Garvey. Bear with me. Again, I believe that Marcus Mosiah Garvey was the most important man in the 20th century that you know nothing about. Let me say this again. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was the most important man in the 20th century that you knew nothing about. From Marcus Garvey came Father Divine, Daddy Grace, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Core, SNCC, all your civil rights areas was birthed from Garvey. So for WMD culture not to acknowledge Marcus Garvey lets me know that they fear the philosophies and the principles of Marcus Garvey. And this is why it's so important for us to have our own family, our own media. Because if we don't have our own, we don't control the narrative. We don't control the story. So it's my responsibility for posterity, for posterity, to leave a body of information that our children's children can tap into, that they can go back and do the research, find the answers to undo the system of racism and white supremacy. Okay, so again, bear with me. Get your libations. Got my little juice and my ice. It's 11 o'clock. And just chill. Chill. We're gonna deal with this Garvey piece. We're gonna put some respect on Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So look, with that said, let me go right into it. I'm gonna read extended, not a brief, but extended history on Garvey, so you can understand just who he was, what he was, and what he said. And I may even do some quotes of Garvey. After I read about Garvey, I'm going to play you Garvey in his own voice. Garvey, you know, watch this. I've been talking about Red Summer 1919, right? Red Summer 1919. Garvey came to America around about 1919 and formed, or he introduced, or he did the Black Star. 1919 was Red Summer. Remember, 1919, Red Summer was a bloody summer for us. That was just 100 years ago. Okay? But he formed
the Red Star. And again, just bear with me. I'm gonna do some reading, and give you an idea of just who this man was and why he's still feared and why they won't do a movie about him and why a movie needs to be done about Garvey from us, not from them. But I will say this, in Jamaica right now, in Trinidad, it's required reading to study the life, the times, the philosophies, and opinions of Marcus Garvey. So with that said, let me just dig right into this right now, and let me just do some reading. Just bear with me. And after I read this, I'm going to play you a Garvey speech and let you hear the man from yourself. So let's go. The man who was honored, and actually this is on my page. You can go to my Facebook page if you got Facebook, and I've actually posted what I'm about to read. It's a big picture of Garvey. It says August 17th, 1887. It's his birthday. It's the birthday of Marcus Garvey, 1887, and August 17th. And so here it is. The man who was honored has first honored himself. Okay. Bantu proverb. Sending warm African salute to honor the dignified spirit of the founding father of Pan-Africanism, Marcus Garvey. Dr. Mosiah Marcus Garvey, as we remember the anniversary of his birthday today, the 17th of August. May the amazing values and great legacy he left behind keep evolving through us, the new Pan-Africans, as we continue to celebrate him. Let's all unite in the quest to make Africa better for us and our coming generations. We must not allow the efforts of struggles of people like Marcus Garvey and so many committed to Pan-Africanism and womanism be in vain. As Marcus Garvey said, a people without knowledge of their history or where they come from are like a tree without roots. Say it again. A people without knowledge of their history or where they come from are like a tree without roots, and it will surely die. Okay? May we not forget who we are, from whence we came, and what we stand for as a people. Lest we forget, our children will never know. And let me say this, as Dr. John Henry Clark says, a people who don't respect their ancestors, their offspring won't respect them. A people who don't remember their ancestors, their offspring won't respect them. And we're living in a time right now because we don't have no respect for the ancestors and don't remember them. Sure, we remember how Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we know all the prophets in the Bible. We know all the prophetesses. We know all the disciples. But we have no knowledge of our ancestors. Okay? African ancestors. Okay. So again, watch this. Born in Jamaica, Marcus Garvey was an orator for the black nationalist and Pan-African movement, to which end he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, okay, and African Communities League. Garvey advanced a Pan-African philosophy which inspired a global mass movement known as Garveyism. Garveyism would eventually inspire others from the Nation of Islam to Rastafarianism. Again, Elijah Muhammad was inspired by Marcus Garvey. And the Rastafarians, I would dare say, if the Rastafarians hadn't kept Garvey's image legacy alive, you wouldn't know about him. So shout out to the Rastafarians who kept the memory and legacy of Garvey relevant. Okay? Social activist Marcus Garvey Jr. was born on August 17, 1887, in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica. Self-educated, Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, dedicated to promoting African Americans and resettlement in Africa. Say that again. Dedicated to promoting African Americans and resettlement in Africa. In the United States, he launched several businesses to promote a separate black nation. And many people have a problem with separatism. But guess what? The only people who have a problem with separatism is folks who don't understand culture. Japan right now is trying to resist China taking back over the land. China right now is trying to absorb or take back Japan as one nation. And they're fighting right now. Vietnam, Korea, Taiwan, they all understand separatism and culture. Russia, okay, the Palestinians, the Jews, Israel, the Afghanistans, India, everybody understands culture except for the native African Americans. Okay, with that said, let me keep it going. In the United States, he launched several businesses to promote a separate black nation. After he was convicted of mail fraud and deported back to Jamaica, he continued his work for black repatriation to Africa. Marcus Garvey was the last of 11 children born to Marcus Garvey Sr. and Sarah Jane Richards. So his parents, Marcus Garvey Sr. and Sarah Jane Richards. His father was a stonemason. His mother was a domestic worker and farmer. Garvey Sr. was a great influence on Marcus, who once described him as severe, firm, determined, bold, strong, refusing to yield even to superior forces if he believed he was right. And that's what we need. Let me say this again. Marcus Garvey Sr. was a great influence on Marcus, who once described his father as severe, firm, determined, bold, strong, refusing to yield even to superior forces if he believed he was right. His father was known to have a large library where young Garvey learned to read. We need to read more, family. And not the internet. I'm talking about the encyclopedia. So just read a book. At the age of 14, Marcus Garvey became a printer's apprentice. In 1903, he traveled to Kingston, Jamaica, and soon became involved in union activities. In 1907, he took part in unsuccessful printers' strikes, and the experience kindled in him a passion for political activism. 3 years later, he traveled throughout Central America, working as a newspaper editor and writing about the exploitation of migrant workers in plantations. He later traveled to London, where he attended Birkbeck College in London and worked for the African Times and Orient Review, which advocated Pan-Africanism and nationalism, founding the United Negro Improvement Association. Okay? He was inspired by three experiences. Marcus Garvey returned to Jamaica in 1912 and founded the United Negro Improvement Association with the goal of uniting Africa, the diaspora, to establish a country and absolute government of our own or of their own. After corresponding with Booker T. Washington, who inspired him, because he read the book Up From Slavery. After corresponding with Booker T. Washington, the American educator who founded Tuskegee Institute, Garvey traveled to the United States in 1916 to raise funds for a similar venture in Jamaica. So Garvey was trying to mimic what Booker T had did in America with Tuskegee, okay? He wanted to do it in Jamaica. He settled in New York and formed a UNI, a chapter in Harlem to promote separatist philosophies of social, political, and economic freedom for blacks, okay? In 1918, Garvey began publishing the widely distributed newspaper Negro World to convey his message. So watch this. 1914 he left. 1916 he raised funds in Jamaica to come to America because he was inspired by Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Up from Slavery, Booker T. The book. Read the book, Up from Slavery. That book inspired Marcus Garvey. And he was trying to mimic Tuskegee in America to bring it back to Jamaica. Okay? Watch this. By 1919, Marcus Garvey and the UNIA launched the Black Star Line, a shipping company that would establish trade, commerce between Africans in America, the Caribbean, and South Central America, Canada, and Africa. At the same time, Garvey started the Negro Factories Association, a series of companies that would manufacture market commodities in every big industrial center in the Western Hemisphere in Africa. And this was 1919. Why is that important? Because I just told you on Sunday, I've been trying to remind you that Red Summer 1919 was when white folks went on a killing spree, killing Native African Americans, coming from the war, trying to find jobs, under Jim Crow, legal terrorism, and Marcus Garvey had formed the UNIA in Harlem, 1919, in the summer of 1919, in the Red Summer of 1919. Red Summer 1919, where 250 black people was killed in a span of 10 months. Well, they was practicing ethnic cleansing? Ethnic cleansing. It was us, people. Us. All right? Watch this. In August 1920, the UNIA claimed 4 million members and held its first international convention at Madison Square Garden. Watch this. Marcus Garvey in 1920 claimed 4 million members and held his first international convention at Madison Square Garden, family. Madison Square Garden in New York. Before a crowd of 25,000 people from all over the world, not with the help of internet, social media. Marcus Garvey had 4 million members and held his first international convention at Madison Square Garden. Good God, without social media. Under Jim Crow, 25,000 people from all over the world. Marcus Garvey spoke of having pride in African history and culture. Many found his words inspiring, but not all. Some established black leaders found his separatist philosophy ill-conceived. W.E.B. Du Bois, a prominent black leader and officer of the NAACP, called Garvey the most dangerous enemy of the Negro race in America. Garvey felt Du Bois was an agent of white elites charges and loss of authority. Garvey felt that Du Bois was an agent of the white elite. He was. Garvey accurately described Du Bois as an agent of the white elite. Okay, he was, but he changed. But he changed his mind later on. Let me keep reading. In 1922, Marcus Garvey and 3 other UNIA officials, UNIA, were charged with mail fraud involving the Black Star Line. Okay, the trial records indicated several improprieties occurred in the prosecution of the case. It didn't help that the shipping line's books contained many accounting irregularities. On June 23, 1923, Garvey was convicted and sentenced to prison for 5 years. Claiming to be a victim of political motivated miscarriage of justice, Garvey appealed his conviction but was denied. And in 1927, he was released from prison and deported to Jamaica. So watch this. Garvey formed the Black Star Line in 1919, right? By 1922, he was charged with mail fraud. So look at 1919, 20, 21, 22. In 4 years, he had a ship. He had a Black Star Line. He had 4 million members. He'd had a convention with 25,000 participants at Madison Square Garden in 4 years. My question to you is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? 4 million people? Or 4 million subscribers? 4 million members in 1919 without the internet? Are you serious? Oh my God. Garvey appealed his conviction but was denied, and in 1927, he was released from prison and deported back to Jamaica. Garvey continued his political activism and worked with the UNIA in Jamaica, and then moved to London in 1935. But he did not command the same influence he had earlier. Perhaps in desperation, or maybe in delusion, Garvey collaborated with outspoken segregationist and white supremacist Senator Theodore Bilby of Mississippi to promote a reparations scheme. The Greater Liberian Act of 1939 would deport 12 million African Americans to Liberia at a federal expense to relieve unemployment. The act failed in Congress, and Garvey lost even more support among black population. So Garvey eventually died in London in 1940 after several strokes due to travel restrictions during World War II. His body was in London, and in 1964, his remains was exhumed and taken to Jamaica, where the government proclaimed him Jamaica's first national hero and reinterred him at a shrine in the National Heroes Park. But his memory and influence remain. His message of pride and dignity inspired many in the early days of the civil rights movement in 1950s and 60s, and in tribute to his many contributions, Garvey bust has been displayed in the Organization of American States Hall of Heroes in D.C. The country of Ghana has named its shipping line the Black Star Line and its national soccer team the Black Stars. And that is a summary of Marcus Garvey. Watch this. Garvey came from Jamaica, right? And the Jamaicans wasn't having him. You know, the scripture says a prophet don't have the same respect as his own country. So he came to America and was embraced by native African Americans. And from his vision, he was able to unite Africa, America, the Caribbeans, the Indies. In 1920, family, think about that. Without the internet, without social media, and people giving 40 cents, because 40 cents was major back then. 30 cent, 40 cent was major back then. That was a lot of money back then. Had 3 ships, the Orion, the Black Star Line, okay? And I posted, I did something on Marcus Garvey on Sunday. So look, with that said, I'm going to give you an excerpt of Marcus Garvey's speech in his own voice. Something you probably never heard before. Because again, we're being miseducated. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Latino, Russian, Italian, German, we're being miseducated in our schools. So I'm trying to bring about some balance right now. Okay? So let me present to some and introduce to others. A speech of Marcus Garvey in his own words. This speech was in the 1920s recorded. 1920s, okay? His own words. Listen to Marcus Garvey.
To lead the millions up the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there's a storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you.
Stop right there. He said any leadership that will have you depend on, that will teach you to depend on another, that will teach you to depend on another race will enslave you. Any leadership, politicians, activists, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, your politicians that will have you depend on another race to feed you, they will keep you enslaved. You know what? Watch this. I got to do that.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you.
I need you to remember that. Because every time you walk out your door every day of your house, and you look to your left and look to your right, and you don't see no stores with you in them, that means we are depending on other people for our survival. The Asians, the Latinos, the Indians. You're not seeing no black neighborhoods. You're not seeing no black communities. You're seeing black neighborhoods. Marcus Garvey just said any nation, any people that would depend on another people for their survival, we will be enslaved soon. Keep going.
They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars have passed through the colleges, the universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good for nothing. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you had better die.
Let me stop right there. I've had people talk about me. Why are you always talking about, you don't say some or, well, here it is. He said, if you're not willing to stand for yourself, you race of cowards,
you racist imbeciles, you're gonna die. Let me play this again, because when I hear Marcus Garvey come hard, he ain't saying no some or maybe. He's going hard. If you can't defend for yourself, I gotta play this again, because I need y'all to hit this. I need you to get this, because we get too many weak people out here who pacify, they neuter, and they castrated, and they just cowards. I flow in the spirit of Marcus Garvey, soft spoken, but I will handle my business. Trust me. Listen to this.
Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under...
Hold up. I'm going to go back.
They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars, having passed through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under... America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good for nothing. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you have better die.
Marcus Garvey, in his own voice, a speech.
Can we do it?
Yes.
We can do it. We shall do it. We have prayed to God for vision and for leadership. And He has given us our universal vision. A vision that will not limit our possibilities to America. A vision that will not limit our possibilities to the West Indies, but a vision that said there must be a free and redeemed Africa. Christ the crucified, Christ the despised. We appeal to you for help, for succor, for leadership. When you endeavor to carry your burden up the heights of Calvary, when white men scorned you, when white men scorned you, when white men spat upon you, when white men pierced your side out of which blood and water gushed forth, it was a black man in the name of Simon the Syrian who took your cross and bore it up the heights of Calvary. And now...
Watch this. Let me stop this. Do you see how Marcus Garvey is able to bring the scriptures into the... He's able to compare the scriptures to the current state of the black man back in the 1920s, the piercing in the side. He's able to connect the past to the present. And some of us run from Christianity. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of the teachings of Jesus Christ. The revolutionary, like he was, a revolutionary follower of the teachings. But he was so smooth with it. He connected the dots. He gave you a historical Jesus, and he gave you a historical George Washington and the colonials and how they were able to do what they're doing and how we must do what we got to do. Powerful. But I digress. Let's hear some more Marcus Garvey.
We are bearing our burden of being so heavy, we just ask that you just help us on up the heights. Oh, yes, the cause is grand, the cause is glory. Surely we shall not turn back. Oh, sail on, almighty shepherd state, sail on until the flag of the red, the black, and the green is perched upon the hills of their Africa.
Watch this. We just celebrated the anniversary of the red, the black, and the green flag, I think about 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Today is the 17th. I believe on the 13th or 14th, when Marcus Garvey introduced the red, the black, and the green flag. The red for the blood, the green for the land, the black for the people. So you hear them talk about the red, the black, and the green. And you seeing right now, there's other nations right now who use the red, the black, and the green. And they throw some yellow in, some throw some orange in. But it comes from Marcus Garvey. Every nation, every group of people come under a flag. If you're a nation, if you're a country, you're represented by a flag. What's your flag? What's our flag? What's our flag? What is our flag? Yes, I am Native African American. I got dual citizenship. The red, the black, and the green, and the American flag. Because the blood that was shed from our ancestors, like I said, before this nation, if the blood was to say, if the ground was to say anything, it would cough up blood first. If America's ground was to say anything to me or to you, before it say one word, it would cough up blood because of all the blood that was shed. Not from just the indigenous, but from the enslaved. My people, your people. And again, I claim this land. When you tell me to go back home, I'm like, where? Where is home? Because nobody in Africa has claimed us other than Ghana right now. And they've offered some type of citizenship, but when you look at the stipulations, you're like, it's that citizenship they want is all about tourism. It costs about $4,000 just to get to Ghana for a round trip ticket in a couple of days. But they want tourism. It ain't about you being repatriated, because they want you to bring something to the table, not because you left here enslaved. Do the research, family. Do the research. But I digress. I'm going back to Marcus Garvey. Speak, Garvey.
Because the time has come for the black man to forget his hero worship of other races. And
Hold up. Because the time has come for the black man to stop his hero worship of other nations. Say that again. Damn, Garvey's on point. Because the time has come for you, black man, you, black woman, to stop your hero worship of other nations. Because you don't know your history. You promote all things outside of our experience. Let me tell you something. What we accomplished as Native African Americans, or as ADOS, American descendants of slaves, or as Native foundational Black Americans, or enslaved people, what we established after 256 years of slavery and within 100 years of Jim Crow is unprecedented. People are still using our inventions from straight out of slavery. Garrett Morgan, the stoplight, the gas mask. Lewis Latimer, the filament that makes the light bulb work. Not the bulb. You need the filament inside. Okay? George Washington Carver. Oh my God. What we gave to this world after slavery or during slavery, and people are still benefiting, is unprecedented. But we got to stop hero worshiping other people. Put some respect on Native African Americans. Put some respect on ADOS. Put some respect on foundational Black Americans. Put some respect on the Organization of African American Unity. Put some respect on us. Like I said, I don't care so much about what they call us or what we call each other. Because it's not what they call you. It's what you answer to. It's what you answer to. It's what our experience is. But I digress. Back to Marcus Garvey.
Create and emulate heroes of his own. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and elevate the positions of fame and honor black men and women who have made a distinct contribution to our racial history. Sojourner Truth is worthy of a place of sainthood alongside the Joan of Arc. Crispus Attucks and George William Gordon are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than the martyrs of any other race. Toussaint Louverture's brilliancy as a soldier or a statesman outshone that of any other people. Hence he's entitled to the highest place as a hero among men. Because Africa's created millions and countless millions of black men and women in war and peace, whose luster and bravery outshone that of any other people. So why not see good and perfection in ourselves?
Let me stop right there. He gave you 3 names. He said we need to create our own heroes. George Washington is not my hero. I'm going on record. Thomas Jefferson is not my hero. Andrew Jackson is not my hero. Could be yours, not mine. These Bama's had slaves. As a matter of fact, Andrew Jackson, George Washington were slave hunters, and they was presidents. There's an article, Washington Post, 3 years ago. Type in slave hunter, Andrew Jackson, George Washington. Type it in. They had a minimum of 250 slaves apiece. And don't mistake Thomas Jefferson's relationship with Hemmings was consensual. It was rape. It was a rape culture. Okay? Not my heroes. We need our own heroes. Who my hero? Harriet Tubman. Ida B. Wells. David Walker. Nat Turner. Must I go on? Marcus Garvey. We need not to be ashamed of our black heroes. Period. Okay? Back to Marcus Garvey.
We must inspire our literature and promulgate the doctrine of our own without any apologies to the powers that be. That right is ours and God. Let sentiments and cross opinions go to the winds. We are entitled to our own opinion and are not obligated to or bound by the opinions of others. If others laugh at you, return the laughter to them. If they mimic you, return the compliment with equal force. Because they have no more right to dishonor, discredit you in manhood than you have in dealing with them. Honor them when they honor you. Disrespect and disregard them when they vilely treat you.
Let me stop right there. Honor them when they honor you, and diss them when they diss you. See, we pride ourselves on taking the high road. Let me tell you something. In the era of white rage, active shooters, and disrespect, I respect those who respect me. If you disrespect me, I'm gonna check you. Okay, and that's not more so taking the high road. That's just taking the road. You're not gonna cuss me out, disrespect my ancestors, and expect me to be all smiley, hunky-dory, like it's okay. You can't disrespect me to my face. I don't check you. And we need to get away from this, you know what, taking some high road. You talk about my mother, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. You call black women outside their names, I'm gonna check you. I don't see bitches among black women. I see queens and princesses. That is not a term of endearment for me. I check you. Joe, you need to see something different about that. You know what I'm saying? And I check the females and the males. I don't use that language. But we need to put some respect on our heroes and sheroes and be unapologetic about our respect for our heroes and sheroes, because we're not getting the balanced information. We love all things white and have no appreciation for all things black, and you wonder why our children are crazy out here. We haven't passed on the respect of our own ancestors. If you don't respect your ancestors, your offspring won't respect you. There's no mystery why we always getting every year President's Day, George Washington Day, 4th of July, Lincoln's Day, because they put some respect on their ancestors. You will respect their ancestors. What ancestors do they give us? Martin Luther King. Really? Because he had a damn dream. Well, eventually, you got to wake up with your damn dream. You got to wake up. I digress. Back to Marcus.
Arrogance is but skin deep, an assumption that has no foundation in morals or in law. They have sprung from the same family tree of obscurity as we have. Their history is as rude in its primitiveness as ours. Their ancestors were running wild in living in trees of branches like monkeys as ours. They made human sacrifices, ate the flesh of their own dead and wild meat from beasts for centuries, even as they have accused us of doing.
Stop right there. Do you hear him breaking down the history of this white boy? The cannibalism. You remember coming up, they used to show us all the old Tarzan, Johnny Weissmuller, Africans, tribal, act like we eating other people, cannibalism. He just told you. He just gave you an outline of they was cannibals. And still are cannibals. Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay? And still are cannibals. Some of them. Okay? We have to be honest with what WMD culture is showing us. And we have to resist it. That's what Marcus is saying. Like I said, I'm not the authority. I'm a facilitator. I wouldn't even say I'm a historian. I'm a facilitator. I love to search history and connect the dots. And I know the importance of Marcus Garvey in our culture. And I know how they must devalue him in their culture. That's why I say we are two nations, separate and unequal. I don't say we Americans, us Americans. I say them. Because as long as you're still shooting 400 people, as long as there's 450 people being shot by the police just this year, and the majority of them are black people, it ain't no we. It ain't no us. When black death is the 6th leading cause of death is by police shootings, it's no more we. No. But I digress. Back to Marcus Garvey.
Their cannibalism is more prolonged than ours. When we were embracing the banks of the Nile, they were still drinking blood out of the skulls of their conquered dead. After our civilization had reached the noonday of progress, they were still living in holes with bats, rats, and other insects and animals. After we had already unfathomed the mystery of the stars and reduced the heavenly constellation to minute and regular calculus, there were still backwoods men living in ignorance and in blatant darkness. The world is indebted to us for the benefits of civilization. They stole our arts and sciences from Africa. Then why should we be ashamed of ourselves? Their modern improvements to be reflected and resurrected by our generation and our posterity. Why should we be discouraged if somebody laughs at us today? Who's to tell what tomorrow will bring forth? Did they not laugh at Christ, Moses, Muhammad? Was there not a Carthage, Greece, and Rome? So we see and have changes every day. So pray, work, be steadfast, and be not dismayed. Because as the Jew is held together by his religion, the white race is by the assumption and the unwritten law of superiority, the Mongolian by the precious tie of blood, likewise the black man must unite in one grand racial hierarchy. Our union must know no clime, no nationality, but let us all hold together in every country, in every clime, making a racial empire upon which the sun shall never set. Let no voice but your own speak to you from the depths. Let no influence but your own rouse you in time of peace and time of war. Hear all, but attend only to that which concerns you. Your allegiance shall be to your God, your race, your country. Remember that the Jew in his political and economic origin is always first a Jew. The white man is first a white man under all circumstances, so you can do no less. Be black, buy black, think black, and all else will take care of itself.
Be black. Be black. Buy black. Think black. and the rest will take care of itself. The Jews are unapologetic about being Jews. The white man is unapologetic about being white supremacist or he's unapologetic. Buy black, be black, and think black. And everything else will take care of itself. I'm going to play that again because you need to get this. Because some of us right here, we so inclusive, so multicultural, so can we all get along, that we forgetting that we're forgetting that the first law of nature has always been self-preservation. Let me rewind this again. Let me, because you need to hear this again. I need this. I need you to get this. Let's see where I'm at.
Country in every clime, making a racial empire upon which the sun shall never set. Let no voice but your own speak to you from the depths. Let no influence but your own rouse you in time of peace and time of war. Hear all, but attend only to that which consoles you. Your allegiance shall be to your God, your race, your country.
Your allegiance should be to your God, your race, to your country. So since we are dual citizenship, your God, your race, your black, and your country. Okay? Look, we are a nation within a nation, separate, unequal, no matter how you want to cut this. You know the laws do not apply for us as they apply for everybody else. We just had a black child was shot in his back the other day by a police officer. Okay? We just had a black child who was killed for stealing or walking out the store with a $2 beer. And that reminded me of Latasha Harlings in 1991 when an Asian woman killed her in that store, which was the preview for the LA riots. So Latasha Harling was the genesis, and then Rodney King got his tail whooped, and then when they found him, the officer not guilty, there was an explosion. But we're seeing right now that other nationalities are killing us. They're bringing their ethnic clans perspectives to this country. This joker killed this young man the other day and left his body out there until it was found 2 days later. He shot him. The guy ran away. Never went to see if he caught him or not. He just shot him and knew he got him. And they found his body 2 days later. A convenience store, an Arab, shot him. They found him guilty. CNN, check it out. I meant to pull it up so you can see it. I said it to say this. We are a nation within a nation, separate and unequal. And this country will never see us as equal because they're still under the rulership of the black codes that's still on the book. And although they don't say them, it's in their hearts. I posted the other day the laws of the 1600s. There was a casual killing law of 1669. Watch this. The casual killing law of 1669 was put on the books in 1669. On record, they said we would get here in 1619. So 1669, 1629, 39, 49, 59, 69. 50 years after being in this country, they had to put a law on the books to keep from prosecuting white women, white men, and white children because they was killing black slaves and their children because the white man
had a fetish for black women, and he would go out and have sex with the black woman and will bore children, and that white woman would become so enraged that she would kill the woman and the child, and they had to put a law on the book called the Casual Killing Act of 1669 that forbid the court system to find white males and white females guilty of killing out of malice. I posted it on my page. The Casual Killing Act of 1669. See, this is what you wasn't taught in school. This is what you don't know. You don't know about the slave codes that are still in effect in the hearts of the people. While you trying to get along, you ain't dealt with the spirit of the law. I can ask everybody on this feed right now to give me 5 of the 10 commandments, and you could quote them like this: "Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, neighbor's ass." You can quote them like that because you know why? It's on your damn heart. And so are those slave codes. On your heart as the oppressed, and on their heart as the oppressor. And just because they ain't quoting the codes, that don't mean the code is not in their damn hearts. This stuff is spiritual. And I'm going to deal with that. I'm dealing with that right now. Some of y'all want so much to love and embrace, and you ain't dealing with the root of the matter. As Dr. Francis Crowe supposed to say, when you don't want to deal with the root, you deal with causation. Causation. When you don't want to solve the problem, you deal with what caused it, not the root. You have to deal with those slave laws, which I posted. Those slave codes. If you don't deal with that, all you doing is just dealing with the symptom and never the root. And I mean that. But back to Marcus Garvey.
Remember that the Jew in his political and economic origins always first the Jew. The white man.
The Jew is always for the Jew. I've never seen a Jew advocate for black folks. I don't see Jews advocating for black people. Although the NAACP was formed by a Jewish organization, okay? But as a collective, Jews don't advocate for black people. Jews do not advocate for black people. Marcus Garvey said that back in 1920. Okay? So all y'all have this Jew fascination. I don't have that. Because I don't hear no Jewish organization advocating on black people getting killed by race soldiers. For the last, Obama was in office, 2000, whenever he was the president. 2008, okay? Obama, we had more black folks being killed under Obama by race soldiers in the history of this country. And not one police officer was prosecuted for killing black people under the Obama administration. And he had a black attorney general, Eric Holder, wasn't killed. I digress. Back to Marcus Garvey.
The white man under all circumstances, so you can do no less. Be black, buy black, think black, and all else will take care of itself.
Be black, buy black, and think black. That's the words of Marcus Garvey in his own words. And some of y'all afraid to be black because you want to be white. You want to be everything but black. You love Ancestry.com because you want to find out what's in your system because you don't like being black. That's your problem right there. You hate being black. But because you don't know black, you don't do the research, you don't do the history. But when you understand what our contribution to the world is, watch this. I'm going to give you a small excerpt. Look at what hip-hop, not rap, look at what hip-hop have did to the whole world. Just the music. Just the music. Russia's banning hip-hop because how powerful it is. We don't own it. But our contribution to this world, I can't imagine the world without the African Americans, us, the native African Americans. Our contribution to this world, we are exceptional. We should be under a protective class of people. Okay? But buy black, be black, think black, and everything else will take care of itself. Stop supporting these people who don't support us. Full disclosure, I went to the Chinese food. I went to the Asian store tonight because I like me little wings and rice. And I saw the prices went up again. The prices for wings, 3 wings and wings was $6.25. Ridiculous. But look here. I digress. I just got me a little feed. Said your live video will be removed soon if you continue to broadcast music you don't have permission. They're gonna cut me off, family. I'm gonna get finished this Garvey piece. I'm gonna let it go. Okay? Watch this. They about to cut me off. They about to cut me off. Your live video will be removed.
Let no one inoculate you with evil doctrines to suit his own convenience. Charity begins at home. So first to thyself be true, and thou canst not then be false to no man. Because God and nature first made us what we are. And out of our own creative genius, we make ourselves what we want to be. Follow always that great law. Let God and the sky be our limit and eternity our measurement. There is no height to which you cannot climb without the active intelligence of your own mind. Mind creates, and as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. And today, being scientifically the weaker race, you shall treat others only as they treat you. But in your homes and everywhere possible, you must teach the higher development of science to your children. And make sure that we have a race of scientists par excellence. For in religion and science lies our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. Never forget your God. Remember that we live, work, and play for a binding racial hierarchy, whose only natural, spiritual, and political limits shall be God and Africa at home and abroad. With God's dearest blessings, I leave you for a while. One love. Brothers and sisters, Marcus, Messiah, Garvey.
And those were the words of Marcus Messiah Garvey. I hope I'm still broadcasting. I got a message from Facebook says your live video will be removed soon if you continue to broadcast information you don't have permission to use. Let me tell you, you know what? Facebook is on some whole different garbage these days, but it's okay. It's okay. I found a way to get around some of their foolishness, because again, voices like myself are being sanitized, we're being censored, because again, we have found new ways to educate and empower our people. Sometimes it's not about what I'm saying, it's about what the voices of the past is saying. So again, you just heard 9 minutes worth of Marcus Garvey. If you go to YouTube, the clip is clip of a powerful Marcus Garvey speech. That's what it says. Clip of a powerful Marcus Garvey speech. That's what it says. So again, I wanted to put some respect on Marcus Garvey, for I know today or yesterday was his birthday. And I think that because we don't own the media, that we don't own the narrative, and I know that nobody in white male dominant culture has said a word about Marcus Garvey, whether it's local channels or your national channels. They haven't talked about Marcus Garvey because they're not going to. But as the black media, the new black media, we must talk about our heroes.
So I want to put some respect on Marcus Garvey tonight or today, because tomorrow I'm going to be talking about some totally different stuff. I'm going to deal with some current issues, some excessive force, some Trumps. I'm going to deal with that Jay-Z piece, with the NFL. I'm going to deal with that tomorrow, because I think that in the bigger scheme of things, you need to know when you're being played. But let me not digress from Marcus Garvey. I need everybody to find a way to get the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. The philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. That's a book called The Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. You need to study Garvey, because Garvey was the most important man, I would say, in the 20th century that you know nothing about. Nothing about. And from Garvey's branch comes the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad. Father Divine. Daddy Grace. I mean, you name it. I mean, Garvey had so many people. Martin King. Not Martin. Malcolm X. Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael. He just had so many branches from him. And we need to really, really do a real detailed, in-depth study of Marcus Garvey. We don't have to look far for answers, family. The answers are in the past. That's why I believe in bringing back the voices from the past, because the answers are in our past. But we are so, how do I say this? We are so seasonal. We just don't have a respect for history. We don't put no respect on history. You know, we have a short span. We have a shorter memory span. We have a short term memory. Watch this. I'm gonna remind you what he said. Marcus said this: any leadership that teaches you to depend on another race is a leadership that will enslave you. We've been under that for the last 60 years or more. Politicians, preachers who have allowed others to come into our community, and we depend on them for our survival. I posted today. If Trump did an executive order today that told white people to support or to buy from white people, and Asians to only can purchase from Asians, and Latinos to only purchase from Latinos, and blacks to only purchase from black people, what stores do we have to purchase from? We don't have no grocery stores. You don't have no gas stations. You don't have no department stores. I would say within 60 days, you would see some deaths, a lot of deaths. If we was told to only go to the stores of your own culture, your own ethnicity, and don't think that's too far-fetched, because we just had a situation where Trump just told 2 elected congressional officials, he told Netanyahu, don't let them in your country. And the prime minister, which is equivalent to the president of the United States, forbid 2 elected officials from the Congress not to go into another country. And you think if he can stop 2 people who are elected by the people not to go into another country, that you can't be stopped from coming in this country or going out? That it ain't so far-fetched that an executive order could be put in place where, you know what, white people go to white stores, Asians, Asian stores, Latinos, Latino stores, and black people to black stores? See, we ain't thinking like that, because we on this whole different Jesus thing. Let's all get along. We in the era of active shooters. That's why I say stay out those malls. Stay out those stadiums. Stay from those theaters. Walk in 2s and 3s. Don't be a soft target. This is coming from a brother who did 20-something years in law enforcement, who know what the hell he's talking about, and he does guns. Ain't no stranger. I'm trying to keep you alive. But y'all don't realize when a shift is taking place because you're so hypnotized. If you on a steady diet of television, radio, and gossip, and entertainment, and sports, you're not thinking. You're just existing. You're not evolving. You're just existing. Okay? What else I say? There's so much I say. So look here. I'm going to bring this to an end. Again, I didn't want to hold you hostage too long. I think everybody who tuned in tonight, I want you to share this video. If you want firearms training, you need to send me an email at juanjohn29@gmail.com. I just posted a video going over a Glock the other day on my YouTube and on social media that you can go over. If you have a gun in your house, a Glock, a semi-automatic, and you're unsure what to do with it, I just posted a 20-minute video on how to make it safe, the parts of it. Okay? This is what I do. This is not me, but this is what I do. So I'm encouraging you right now to take advantage of the training, of the teachings right now. But check into my page. A lot of stuff that I post, I'm reposting from years ago because that stuff is still relevant now than it was back 9-10 years ago. Stuff has not changed. It's getting worse. Okay? So again, put some respect on Marcus Garvey. Show some respect for Chuck Brown. Like I said, I did a Chuck piece today, and I'm just excited about seeing about 4,000 people at the Chuck Brown event. But I'm also excited about being able to put some respect on Marcus Garvey on today. So again, go to your YouTube, pull up the video of Marcus Garvey and hear his message again. Okay? And I'm going to end this broadcast. I need you to share this. I need you to share it. I need you to share this. Please share this video. Don't be selfish. Don't keep the information to yourself. And block party. I had to lighten the mood because I know y'all was really, really into this whole Marcus Garvey piece. Look, family, this is a whole new way of teaching. And be open to it. Share this with your children, with your family. Go back over and listen to it. Don't take what I say. Check it out for yourself. Okay? Check it out for yourself. But remember this. At the end of the day, this is real talk, real solutions, real issues. Okay? And it's not how much you know, family. It's a lot of people's degreed. But it's not how much you know. I miss out when we play though. Okay. Ron, I hear you. It's not how much you know, family. It's always how much you care. But y'all missed that Chuck Brown thing today. If you weren't at Chuck Brown part, you missed something special. But let me shout out to who I see right now. I see you, Vonnie. I see you, Warren, Wallace, Kathy, Steph. I see you, Steph. Ayana, I see you, girl. I see you. Albert's in the house. My uncle's in the house. Boy, I tell you. Cedric, Miss Erica, it's always good to see you, girl. Teresa again. Gwen, I see you. Norma, if she's still watching. Bishop-elect, we got some bishops in the house. Bonita, I see you. I see you. I see you. Tony B, I see you again. I see you. Karen, Monte. Again, I can only see with so many people. But I just thank everybody for tuning in. And again, put some respect on Chuck. Play some Chuck tonight. Play some Chuck tomorrow. It's his day. Actually, his birthday is actually on the 22nd, but they celebrate it on the 17th. Okay? But with that said, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for tuning in. Again, if you want to contact me for firearms instructions, JUANJOHN29@gmail.com. If you want to send any side, I want somebody to type that in. $JUANJ29. If you want to send a donation, if you don't, it don't make a difference. It really don't. I'm gonna do this thing with or without your support, because at the end of the day, this thing gonna blow up. It's already blowing up. Trust me, it's taking on a life of its own. But $JUANJ29 on the Cash App. And I thank you all for tuning in. And always remember, at the end of the day, it is not how much you know, family. It's how much you care. We had a block party today. And Sugar Bear was there tonight too. Keep the wine popping.
Keep on rocking.
All right, family. With that said, look here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna bring it to an end tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We'll be talking about Jay-Z. We'll be dealing with the Colin Kaepernick, the NFL. I'm gonna show you my opinion, which is different from most people, because I think we all been. Look here. You know, I've been boycotting for 4 years now. Colin Kaepernick started boycotting about 3 years ago, going on 3 years. I boycotted a year before he started this. But I'm going to show you tomorrow that we all being played, not me, that y'all all being played. I'm going to connect the dots. I'm going to show you how Colin is not the face of social justice. I'm going to show you how Jay-Z is trying to bring back the black dollars. The NFL is hurting right now because black folks have left the NFL. I'm going to connect the dots. I'm going to show you Nike and what they've done. How they've, basically got all of us food. All of us. I'm going to connect the dots. Nike, the NFL, Colin, and Jay-Z. I'm going to show you how they all on the same team. They all on the same team. Watch this. I'm going to give you a little preview. Watch this. I'm going to let it go. Colin Kaepernick took that money from Nike in 2018 with that commercial, right? Remember that commercial he did? What they did? And guess what? You didn't hear from Colin no more until the first week of July, when they talked about those shoes, the little 13 stars on it. We had 480 shootings just this year, and Colin Kaepernick ain't said a damn word. And we had 418 people got killed by the police in 2019. 480. Family, it's only 365 days in a year. We've had 480 people killed by the police, and he ain't said nothing this year. But you heard from him on July, a week before they dropped that release on his shoes, the 13 stars. He said something. The first time all this year. And the second time he said something was with Jay-Z. You've been had. You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been read amok. You've been led astray. But I'm gonna connect those dots on tomorrow. You're gonna see. And Jay-Z, like you said, I'm a businessman, not a business man. I'm gonna connect those dots too. Again, thank you for tuning in. I can't wait to talk to you on tomorrow. And look here, if you want to come in, just hit the little I want to come in button. We can talk. We're gonna unpack this. But at the end of the day, remember this: it's not how much you know, it's how much you care. I'm out of here. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Talk to you soon. We out. Peace.